Hello and welcome to Zero Cool Gaming and today's hardware review. Today we're going to be reviewing the RetroTink 5X Pro. Now, the reason I bought this was because I have tried all the cheaper ones. And what I mean by that was, I've got a PS2 and a PS3. And when you try to convert either of those to HDMI, the image with most converters it's darker. Now, if I connected my PS2 or my PS3 directly to my TV through S-Video, I got a beautiful image on this big TV. And I think the main reason for that was that this TV was closer to a monitor than it was a TV, so it had a good converter in it. But when I would try to connect to, I believe the first one I bought was like a $14 converter, and it converted the S-Video into HDMI, and then the resulting picture was darker. So I bought a more expensive one. It was like $30 or $50, whatever it was, and same thing. So I was like, okay. I bought $120, $130 one. I think it was $129.99 for $130. And it was still the same thing. It would make the image darker. And I was like, okay. There were two things that I could do. There was an SCC or OSSC, something like that. There's a type of converter that you can program if you're good with that type of stuff, and it would solve that problem. I'm not good with programming in that respect. I do know how to program. I understand the language, most of them anyway, but I'm not really good at it. I mean, if I don't have a book in front of me telling me what to do, I'm not going to know what to do. So when this was being released or developed, whatever, anyway, when it hit the market, it sold out immediately. And it was sold out basically for the first 2 years of production. They would say they're going to get some in and they'd be sold out before you could get on the website and order any. And then finally, it was either October or November of last year, I was able to get one. And it did exactly what I wanted it to. I plugged in my S-Video for my PS2. I set the input to S-Video, and the resulting image looked beautiful. It was bright. It wasn't darker. Um, it worked great, exactly how it was supposed to work, at least in my mind. So I hooked up my PS3 to it, same thing, hooked it up, S-Video, turned it on, gave me a beautiful image. This is very easy to use. It's basically plug and play. The only thing you gotta set in that respect is you use a little controller over here, and you can do it with manual buttons on it as well. But you use a little remote control and you keep scanning through the inputs until you hit the input that you're using. And then it'll convert the image properly. So what do I think about the RetroTink? I think for $300, it does an amazingly good job. It's very easy to use and well worth it in my opinion. There are cheaper options. Like I said, there is a type of converter that does the exact same thing this does. You just have to program it. And it's like $100 for that. So you can get cheaper options that will do the same thing. But this is already programmed for you, and it makes it very simple. I'm told that this would work with a PS1 as well, and I've seen images of it working fine with the PS1. The PS1 that I have is a PS1 Classic, which already has HDMI on it, so I don't have to convert that. so I don't know how well it works with PS1 images. Um, with this, everything that I use this for, I use it to upscale and convert to 1080. Everything that I record for gaming is done in 1080. And that's to make it more compatible with my capture card, as well as that software, and that's also to um, save on hard drive space. I've got 1440p monitors, and for 20 plus years I played games at 1536 by 2048, which is basically 2K, or what today would be considered 1440p. And for me to go down to 1080 from 1536 by 2048, it is really a downgrade. I'm going from 2K back to 1K. And it's fine. I mean, that doesn't overly bother me too much. I mean, the games don't really suffer. The graphics do, but the games themselves play just like they would at 2K. Um, this little thing over here plugs into the SCART right here. So if you have like regular RCA cables that you want to plug into this, you can do that through the SCART converter, or whatever type of converter this is. This is not sold with the unit. This is sold as an accessory or an add-on, or however you want to put that. With the next one that I buy, I will probably get one of these. Because right now I only have one RetroTink, and I don't like just having one of something for my business. I mean, when it comes to my consoles, I've got all PlayStation consoles except for a Sega Genesis back there. Um, and I've got doubles of all of my consoles. When it comes to my PCs, almost have doubles of my PCs. As far as the ones that I have running, I have doubles of all of them. And I'm still working on my Windows 95/98 PC. And the only thing I really need for it is a hard drive, because the hard drive failed on me like 3 or 4 months ago. And what I don't like about that is I can't really buy new hard drives. I have to buy used hardware and hope it works when you're going that old. But I would love to one day find, a nice new IDE hard drive. I just don't see that ever happening, really. They do have converters that'll convert from S-Video to IDE, and I have thought about that. I might try that on this next build, just to see how compatible that is, whether or not there's any conflictions with it, things to that effect. Um, I did pretty good in finding um, CD-ROM and a DVD-ROM that were actually new with IDE connections. And I didn't do too bad on finding a new AGP video card. So, I mean, you can find retro hardware that is brand new. You just really gotta look for it. It's not like it's everywhere and all over the place, because it's not. But you can find it sometimes. Um, but as far as the RetroTink goes, I'm very happy that I bought it. I'm very happy with how it functions, and I'm very glad that somebody made this device in that respect. This is something that the market's been needing for, as far as I'm concerned, 10 years. And it was just never done. And from what I understand, there's not a lot of people that work at this company. It's a pretty small company, and they just, like me, realized that there was a marketplace for something like this. and they decided to go ahead and fill that niche. That niche? Yeah, that niche. And they did an excellent job. They really did. They have a few other products. I've never owned any of their other products, but from what I've seen on reviews and from what others have said, they're pretty solid products as well. So if one of their other products fits your needs, I would definitely suggest getting it from here, because they do make solid products at the very least. Um, this little bag it comes in, I never really understood. I think it's supposed to be a green, you know, no green thing. Um, but you have all the rest of this plastic that came with it, plus the box. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Um, I think this is supposed to be a coaster. I've never used it, but I think that's what that's supposed to be. Coaster for your drinks. Uh, and of course, this is your actual power cable. If your computer has one of those high amp USB connections on it, that'll work. What I did was I got a 3 amp converter from the AC wall to USB, and that 3 amp um, plug converter thing that I got for it was enough to power this. I don't think it uses 3 amps, not anywhere close, but I know when I plugged it into just a regular USB port, and don't get me wrong, there was probably other things that were pulling power as well, because I use a lot of USB stuff on my computers. It wasn't enough to turn it on. So that's just something to be aware of. Um, I don't know how much power it pulls, but it's probably less than an amp. It might be close to it, especially when it's, doing its conversion stuff. But I truly don't know how much power this thing pulls. Like I said, I just got one of those 3 amp converters, and I plugged it into that, and I haven't had a problem with it since, as far as power supply to it. Um, for me personally, I played around with this for the first, let's say, month and a half, maybe 2 months that I bought it, and I haven't really played much with it since to see what else it's capable of, so I really don't know. I just basically set it to one setting, which is S video, and then that covers both my PS2 and my PS3. I don't have to change it or do anything with it. You turn it off and you turn it back on, and it retains its settings. So it's not like it resets the default every time you turn it off. I like it. I think it's a good product. Well, that's my hardware review for the day, and I hope you enjoy the rest of yours.